I'm gonna say.
I thought y'all had to use the bathroom.
No, I don't. She does. Do you think the bathroom? No, but she's back.
Well, what's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. And this is probably a first here that we've actually had a Saturday live stream Zoom call with our, our fans and stuff, our channel members, and then have a game a few hours later. So this will be a good warm up for us all. And I can see we're starting to get people in the house. So let me get everybody up and running here. And there we have Troy Daniels is up there. And let me go ahead and say shout out to Angelica Barone. What's up, Angelica? Crystal Caramel Corn. What's up, Crystal Caramel Corn? Let's see. I see there's Brian Harding in the house, whose Commanders are supposedly trying to tank, to try and get better draft position. So this may be the last real test we have before the playoffs. Troy, how you doing today, man?
Doing great, Mark. How about yourself?
I can't believe that there's only 2 games left to the NFL season for our Cowboys, and after tonight it'll only be 1. I can't believe that 2023 is almost over, that it's almost 2024, and it's kind of killing me because I'm getting old. There's Kiana Gibson. What's up, Kiana? Yeah.
I turn a year older next month.
It feels like I keep turning a year older every day, man. This old body's just getting old by the minute. Andrew, much love to you and your family from Mississippi. Not many people can say they can do what you do and make it look easy. Keep on keeping up, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that, Andrew. I don't know if you're talking about working on the red brick house or doing YouTube, which one I'm making it look easy. But Troy, what's your thoughts on tonight? Oh, there we go. Julian, what's up, Julian? How are you doing tonight?
Oh, good. How about you?
Just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and hoping that the Cowboys get a win. And
Me too.
actually, I kind of messed up here a little bit because I was behind me. There's a fireplace I was painting over there, and I got a text message that I could not believe, and I realized that we need to pray for Philly 500.
Oh no!
Yes, we need to pray for Philly 500. In fact, let me read this to you because I'm just don't even know what to say about it. It's so bad that I can't even get my damn phone opened up here. Okay. He had said, Dolphins, both Dolphins and Cowboys get calls for dumb roughing the passer, neither was penalties. And then Merry Christmas, of course. This is the text train. Are you still them boys? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. And then this is the one that made me realize that we need to call 911. It says, "Go Cowboys."
Wow.
Was he really drunk on his eggnog?
And I was like, okay, so I text back like, laugh out loud, like, okay, he's talking some shit. He says, "You guys will win today, giving us the number 2 seed. I'm rooting for the Cowboys."
If he's actually drunk, you could use that as blackmail on him.
No, Eagles. Here's the thing. In the same way, I felt so dirty when I was rooting for San Francisco. And at this moment, I'm not sure that it was the best thing for us because, San Francisco fans, I'm sorry, they're the biggest assholes out there. I'm sorry. Forgive me, 49er fans, but you guys, bang, bang, Niner gang, which to me sounds suspect to begin with, if you ask me. I'm just
Sounds like
saying.
9 of them are in there.
You know, bang bang Niner gang. I just when you say bang bang Niner gang, I think kind of a gang bang is what that's what a circle jerk or something. Okay, I just think it's just something that's and there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just that's just
all I know is a lot of their gangbangers are headed up to our place. They're up to our state, so
so
it's like
you know
away.
when we had to root for them, I felt so. I literally. I had to get up and take a shower, and I started scrubbing, and the scrubby, the nice scrubbies like the ladies always get and tell you to scrub with, and I was scrubbing with that, but I still felt dirty, so then I was using the back brush and scrubbing all over, like I was getting ready for surgery, and that wasn't. I still felt so dirty and disgusting having rooted for San Francisco. I got a wire brush like I use for the paint, and I just started scrubbing with the wire brush. I was literally having to take skin off, and it still felt dirty.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Dang, Georgia.
I honestly don't know if we had to root for the Eagles to improve ourselves, if I could do it. I honestly don't know. At that point, I would just kind of say we're just screwed. I don't know that I can do that.
I understand that there's still a way we can still take the division, even if we tie Philadelphia.
Well, if Philadelphia's got to lose one game. We win the next two, we can be tied, and we will actually have the division. And that's what's crazy about it. So if either the Cardinals or the Giants beat them and we end up winning tonight,
This is a beat down.
which is why the NFL hasn't said when the Cowboys game is going to be.
Beat down.
It better be. It definitely better be.
He's talking about the Georgia-Florida State Orange Bowl.
There's Gina Dallas Diva. What's up, Gina? What's funny is Angelica. I said, as I was setting up here, that Tracy was up here and looking at where I just painted the fireplace and all that, and I said, Angelica's getting kind of spicy and raw. She's like, what do you mean? I said, some of the things she said. She says, Angelica? I said, yeah. I said, she's like, what? I said, she's always talking about butt plugs and stuff. And my Tracy's like, what? I said, butt plugs. I said, because of the brotherly shove, the tush push and all that. And so Tracy was like, what? Okay, anyway. Sorry, didn't mean to throw you under the bus there.
How could they not see that some of those Eagles are lined up in the neutral zone, offsides?
Because they have a blind eye when it comes. How do they not call Lane Johnson for, always jumping off sides before the ball snapped?
Yeah,
I'm still amazed that they ended up, actually getting
starts. Yeah.
I love when Kelsey got busted for moving the ball up half a yard. His excuse was, he said, well, I got too close to the ball and I was just trying to get back into my normal, stride.
What?
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. By moving the ball a half a yard forward when it was only 3/4 of a yard. Right. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Mark, if the Cowboys win, what does that mean? If the Cowboys wins, that means it puts more pressure on everybody else.
Philly.
Okay. Here's the thing. Now, the rumor is that the Commanders definitely don't want to win next week because they're looking at getting the best draft position that they can. It's funny because they ended up basically announcing that Jacoby Brissett would be the starter for the rest of the season, and all of a sudden you hear he's got a hamstring issue.
Hamstring problem.
It's like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What else could they say is going wrong?
Woo! Shit! Damn. Angelica says, calling my ass out, but hey, I'm all woman and I can handle it. Damn. Wow. Oh, wow. Damn. Wow.
She gonna take you to the woodshed there, Mark.
I'm serious. I tell you what. Damn, don't cross Angelica Barron. Okay, Lions aren't winning anything. Okay, how can Dan Quinn not use personnel correctly as it bothers me? The reality is you're playing guys that are good too. They get paid on the other side of the field to counteract. Nobody, and I don't care what coach that you've got out there, nobody gets it right every single time. Nobody does. For some reasons, people expect perfection in something that is never, it's never perfection in football. I don't care if you're talking about Joe Montana. Joe Montana had bad games too.
I think he was bad for like the first 4 years of his career, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, but and they finally clicked. They got the team and stuff around him and things. This whole thing, that's on you, Mark. Okay, Jeff Lee. Not sure what side of us coming out, the Cuban side or the. Oh my God, that's a hell of a mix there, Angelica. It's probably the two of the sides coming together, the Cuban and Italian. We all in trouble.
Italian.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh man, I feel man, your man. I guarantee you, he gets a foot in his ass all the time. Oh boy.
Penalty on the play.
So how are we feeling, everybody, about the game?
Feel good.
I think
Very
good.
good.
I think they're going to do good because I mean it's at home.
Mhm.
Jimmy Johnson homecoming.
And yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hopefully they'll have
better
the
be
halftime
good.
festivities.
Sure, the football gods will be watching. But
I think
ESPN's
at
going to
least-
broadcast the halftime.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Is the game on
That's
ESPN?
good.
Yeah, it's on
the
ESPN
game
and
is
ABC.
Yeah, the game's on ESPN and ABC.
ESPN,
but
they're
take your
going to
pick.
stay. ESPN's going to stay through the halftime, so just
Oh, good.
the
I
same
am so
broadcast
glad that-
except when it goes to halftime. You know what I mean? So just leave it on ESPN if you have it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
that's what
go
I'm
go.
planning to do.
That's good.
I'll watch the finish of the Orange Bowl, and then I don't know. I'll probably flip it over to ABC.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Jimmy Johnson go in.
Finally.
It's been way too long, and Jerry Jones maybe at some point I look at myself at being 58 and realize I got a whole lot of miles behind me, and I don't know how many I have in front of me. That you want to start getting yourself right. Now Jerry Jones is probably about 30 years older than me. I don't know, what is he, 77 or?
Jerry
No,
Jones?
I think
God,
Jerry-
he's in his
I think
late
Jerry
80s. He's like
old.
89.
Is it okay? So he's got about 30 years on me. So he's in his
Hey
yeah.
Google. How old is Jerry Jones?
I think he's 89.
Jerry Jones is 81 years old.
Oh, 81.
89.
Oh,
I thought he was 89.
Man, I gave him too many
years, man.
Okay, so he's 20.
Yeah,
Damn.
just a little.
Actually, he's only 23 years old. Damn. That's what I'm going to look like in 23 years? If I'm still here? Damn.
what's going on? What's going on?
Actually,
Kenny?
Stephen Jones is about my age. I think he's a year or two older
You
than me.
home loyal?
No, he's at the stadium. Can't you see?
Yeah, he's sitting
Yeah, I
in the
flew
stadium.
in. I went straight from Arizona to Dallas. I'm ready for the
Good for
game.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sitting down at ground level there. You can see the football and the helmet behind me.
Well, I saw the mailman yesterday. I think it was 34. Was it 34-21?
24.
Oh, 34-24. So you got us with the victory.
Yeah, I'm not confident about it, though.
You're not
I
co-
ain't going to lie to you.
You said 34-24 for Dallas
Yeah,
today, huh?
yeah. I
I-
think they're going to win, but we've lost 2 in a row here.
I think they're going to dump on them. I really do. I think they're going to dump on Detroit.
that's what we need. But I keep hearing, well, if we lose, we're going to play Trey Lance next week, and
we're
everybody's
not.
like setting up.
what? Come on.
Like, relax.
The only
That's
way
what I'm
they can
hearing
play-
a lot.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, though. Okay, I hear what they're saying. If we lose this
there's
one, there
nothing to
is no
play for.
point. There is no
Right.
point of playing anybody next week.
I said this a while ago, but I said it if we got the 1 seed or we didn't need the game. I didn't say it thinking we'd be on a 3-game losing streak. So let's hope we go out there tonight and kick butt. But if we lose, it's over. We're locked into the 5th seed.
To number 5, yeah.
So get ready for a Cooper Rush to start and Trey Lance to play the whole second half next week. So I don't want to see that. I'm not trying to bring anybody down. We better win
I would
tonight.
I'd rather dump on Detroit and then go into
Yeah,
Washington
exactly.
and do the same thing.
That's what we want to do. That's
Dump
what
on
we
both of
want to
them.
do. We want to win tonight. I just, yeah, we'll see.
And then
We
watch
got-
the Giants next week dump on the Eagles. I can't
I
believe they
mean,
almost came back and beat them.
What is
did
it?
anybody
What's
know
the
if
point
Kyler
spread?
Murray's going to play tomorrow? Did anybody hear
Yeah,
anything yet?
I
Kyler's
think he
supposed
is.
to
Playing.
play.
I'm pretty
He
sure
is
he's
playing? Because I know he
Yeah.
missed practice, so
because of
the
an
Eagles
illness.
just keep falling into it, man. It's just lucky.
Well,
it's
Let's
a
hope
grudge game.
let's hope the Cardinals can do what they did to
Well,
us.
it's a grudge game. You got the old defensive coordinator coming back into town, so
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he'll probably have that defense ready to go.
yeah.
You'll put together a
You
good
know,
game plan.
and quite as it's kept, the Cardinals got a good defense.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
who I'm counting on. I ain't counting on the Giants. We'll worry about that next week.
Yeah,
Tomorrow's the
wait till
day.
next week.
So
Yep.
let's not blow an opportunity to get right and to put a little pressure on the Eagles. So
Well, even if we win tonight, we're just we'll still be in that number 2 seed based on our half game lead on the Eagles
right.
until they play.
That's if only if Philadelphia lose tomorrow. If they lose tomorrow, it'd be a different story.
Well,
Yeah,
but no, here's the thing,
Because-
though. No, hold on. If we win tonight, and even if
We're
the
back
Eagles,
into the 2
even if
seed.
the Eagles win, of course, on Monday, it's still
No, if they were to lose,
even if they win, it's still the last game of the season matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Because
Yeah.
if they lose against the Giants and we win against the Commanders, then we win the division.
Yep.
So basically,
Straight out, there wouldn't
no
be any
matter what.
tiebreaker.
Okay, no matter what happens, if we win tonight, next week still counts.
Yep.
So if
I
they're going to
think-
go in with the attitude that we're going to rest everybody, then go ahead and then don't play anybody tonight if that's your attitude. But I'm with you,
if you're
Brian. I
locked
don't
into
want to
that
go
5
through a 3-game lose streak
Well, that's the thing. I'm
and
not
then
like
go
Jeff
against the
Lee said,
Commanders
say it
and
with some-
possibly lose that one.
Yeah, well, Jeff Lee's like, say it with some positivity. I want them to win. I'm just saying, you're asking me how confident I could be a cheerleader and go, yeah, I'm confident. I think we're going to win. I keep falling back on, well, we've won 15 in a row. Tyron Smith's playing. I keep having all that, but I just keep seeing, hopefully we can stop the run. That's all.
But you know what? But let me put something out here real quick, because I was watching Jane Slater today, and the narrative that they put up there, they said since week 15, the Cowboys have given up an average of 176 yards on the ground, which is true. But here's the thing. You gave up 266 to Buffalo and only 91 to Miami. There's a big difference between the two. You played terrible against Buffalo against the run, but you made a really big improvement. You only gave up a third of the yards to Miami on the ground that you did to Buffalo. So, the narrative out there, the Cowboys can't stop me on the run. You held the Miami Dolphins, which is one of the better running teams in football, to only 91. You know what I'm saying? Or am I just crazy here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, listen,
I-
everything comes down to our offense scoring points. Our defense over the last month has 1 sack, or over the last 4 games, it's averaging 1 sack a game. Prior to
Right.
that, we were averaging 4.5 sacks a game. That's because we were getting a lead and being able to make teams one-dimensional. So this is where our offense needs to come out and get the job done. I do have confidence that we're going to be able to run the score points. So I think we're going to be able to do it all on offense. So we should be good tonight. I'm picking a win. I just I'm not
But
gonna lie and say I'm
here's the thing. Let me see if I can
100%
find
confident.
it. There's actually something that's worse than the run stopping that nobody's actually focusing on. Okay, Ed Warder actually put this up, I think yesterday. Dan Quinn's defense has failed to create a takeaway in consecutive games. Quinn has coached 52 games for the Dallas defensive coordinator without that happening. In fact, that hasn't happened since the Cowboys defense since 2001. So, as bad as giving up yards on the ground. We didn't do that last week, but we didn't get any takeaways for 2 weeks straight. And that's where we need to be able to do a lot better than what we've done. We need to get the ball.
I agree.
Thoughts?
Well, that's all goes into our offense scoring points, because Detroit is going to pound the ball at you. They're not going to do what Miami did and run to the edges. Detroit runs at you, which is a problem for us. So, without Hankins, it's going to be all hands on deck. You got Donovan Wilson's going to be stepping up playing the linebacker, which is a lot better than Marquise Bell and Damone Clark getting all the inside reps. So we need to stop the run. And as long as we're scoring points, that'll pull them away from the run.
Yeah.
They're still going to run the ball, but that's going to make them more one-dimensional. And as you know, Jared Goff is not going to be able to hurt us with his feet. So that's another positive. We have to stop their run or limit their run. We can't let them be 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, because then it's going to be our offense is going to be on the sideline, and that's not going to be good. It's going to make this game closer than it needs to be. So let's just hope that we can score some points.
There you go.
It's on Dak. It's on CD. It's on everybody. Deuce Vaughn's going to play today. What do you guys think of that?
It would be nice to see him get some carries and things.
Yeah.
The question will be, let me say, the Queen is here. What's up? Queen is here ready to whoop some ass. Okay. She's hitting the fresh can out. And we have lovely Linda in the house. Linda, are you a Dallas Cowboy fan tonight like Philly 500 is? That's my question. Because things are getting kind of cray-cray out there. I think the Cowboys are going to come out with a sense of urgency, and really, they've been lucky that they still have any chance after the last 2 weeks of getting, a better position on the in playoff seeding and stuff with 2 ass games. If they don't come out here tonight and play like they mean it, then I'm worried about the playoffs, because this to me is a playoff game.
Yeah.
This is our last chance to really make a statement. Because next week, everybody's gonna look at that and laugh because it's Washington. So they have to make a statement tonight.
We need to show some physicality.
I think they're gonna make a statement tonight. I do.
And Jimmy Johnson's getting inducted in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I think they're gonna make a statement tonight.
I need a touchdown on that opening drive. That's what I need.
Yeah.
That'll help me feel better. To start the game.
So do you want them to take the ball if they win the toss?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Dictate the game in the beginning. Take away their heart. That's what I do.
Yeah, end the game early. End it early. End it early. That's that's the game plan. End it early.
We need to watch the penalties, though, too, and we need to get the ball. We need to be able to take away the ball on defense. Like Mark said, we haven't done that in the last, I think, 3 weeks, really, very well. And we have not been tackling well either at all. So we need to focus. Well, not we, but they need to focus on that. Fundamentals, watch the penalties. And, Parsons going to get held no matter what. Somebody else needs to step up and be the one to kind of, hey, he's doubling me. They need to come up with something to, help them out.
Well, that's what's weird. If they're doubling, Micah, there's got to be an opening for us to get at the quarterback.
Yeah, and the other thing we have to do is we have to eliminate the dumb plays. But Sam Williams, please don't hit the kicker. Please don't. That's twice you've had that happen to us.
Yeah, I'll say that the Lions got a good pass rush, especially with Aiden Hutchinson. We have to contain that.
They've got one real good pass rusher in Hutchinson. They don't have the second one to really follow up with it. Now
when that dude gets at it, he gets at it. He's a beast. So we really got to keep him in check.
All right,
and Queen Bella, guy too.
The Queen says that Parsons will get one call tonight. I'd be surprised on that one. I was thinking about Jimmy Johnson and thinking about accountability on the field, not off the field. He let the boys be boys. But can you imagine like Sam Williams if he played for Jimmy Johnson and had 2 roughing the kicker penalties?
Oh, he'd be
walking home. He'd be trying to catch Uber home or something.
They get yelled at.
You know, and I recognize that things are different today for the players than, you know, when I grew up and stuff. You know, that now it's a different generation where players are coddled and, you know, you get in their multi-millionaires where, you know, you can't cut them because they, you know, they're making more than the coaches and things like that. And the team has to try and motivate them to keep playing and stuff. But it's just, I miss some of the passion. And I miss the, you know, seeing a coach literally give a guy a look and seeing that player like, no, I need to go wide to get back onto the sidelines because they are literally putting a foot in my ass. And, you know, it's just that whole accountability just is not there like it used to be. Twiz, Bills, Dolphins, and Lions. Oh, my. North of the border, Miss Gibson fire. Prime time. What's up, prime time? Hey, everyone. Hey, hope everybody is great. Hopefully the Cowboys are great. That's what I'm hoping for. And Chris, what's your thoughts, buddy?
Oh, yeah. I just want to see physicality. That's what I want to see. I want to see us defensively be physical, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And our defensive ends, on another thing I've noticed, is when our defensive ends are up there pass rushing, they get put out of position. If you notice, they're pushing to the inside when the quarterback goes outside. If we're playing against a guy that's going to run outside, that's another thing that I've noticed a lot. They've been taking advantage of that aggressiveness of us coming on the outside, pushing us inside or pushing us outside so the quarterback or the running back can get up.
Yeah, you've got to keep that rush integrity. You know, the defensive ends, you are 100% right, have to get outside. And you need the push from the middle and to keep that pocket literally collapsing in on them. You're right, if they do collapse on the inside there, you can kind of loop around and get past that edge, and then they're going for big plays. But, you know, we haven't seen, like, Hurts did not have a whole lot with us. Tua did not do that much with us. Everybody ran on us with the Bills. I kind of feel like the Bills game was more of the exception than the rule, though. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but that was just one of those games. I honestly believe that the Cowboys, you looked at how Dak and Ferg and everybody else just dancing on the sidelines. I think that they started believing the hype that the Cowboys are, you know, America's team, and we got the big win streak, that the Buffalo Bills are going downhill. And the Bills were desperate and came out there and stole their lunch money. And before the Cowboys knew it, it was too late to do it. I just felt like they just didn't show up for that game. And I don't know that there was anything that, and maybe in the end it'll end up being a better situation. They played a lot better against Miami. They just couldn't close the game out. Now, let's see what they do tonight with the Detroit Lions. And hopefully they continue that turnaround from the Buffalo Bills and get some momentum. It'd be nice to have a victory here and a victory against Washington to go into the playoffs, whether or not you have a home game or not for the playoffs. You want to go in on a high note at least.
Dallas needs to put a mollywhopping on like Georgia's doing to Florida State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
goodness.
You know, like I said, we need to end this game early, and you know, if that was to happen, just let Dan Quinn do his thing. You know, let him do his thing. You know, get a couple of turnovers, and you know, get this defense rolling back up again.
Yeah.
He needs to let them loose is what he needs to do.
Let them loose.
They look like they are so uptight. They aren't as loose as they were, you know, in those other games. They're not getting to their
let them lose like he did against the Rams when I saw it, when I witnessed that beat down. You know, just let them lose. Once the offense, you know, have everything set up, you know. Offense set everything up for the defense, and once the defense is set up, they can, you know, return back to the old Dallas form like we were early to midway through the year.
Yep. Shout out to Andy, channel member for 8 months. And yes, actually, I did go to school with Charles Haley and play football at JMU with him. And yes, stories you heard about him being cray-cray are true, okay? Literally. And I tell you one thing. That's a guy who practiced like he played. and that was with his hair on fire. You better have your chin strap buckled up and be literally ready for war. We haven't been getting turnovers, and that's to his digger. And you don't have any for a couple games. You guys want to fire Dan Quinn. Oh, no. I don't want to fire Dan Quinn. I mean, believe me. Look, we got Cowboy fans that, at one incompletion, with Dak Prescott, fire the bum and trade him and get somebody else in here. There are always going to be fans that are like that. I have to admit that. But no, Dan Quinn, as opposed to what we had with Mike Nolan and even with Rod Martinelli, is far way better than anybody else.
No, you don't want to do that. Things like this happen on teams. It has happened with all 31 teams. So all this stuff about Dan Quinn, put on the brakes. Put on the brakes. Put on the damn brakes right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going through a thing right now. The only difference is it's happening at the wrong time of the year. Put on the damn brakes.
Yeah, Dan Quinn ain't going nowhere. Dan Quinn is not going nowhere.
No.
Well, he might be going somewhere at the end of the year, being a head coach, but it'd be stupid. I for one would hope that he just wants to be a defensive coordinator for a few more years, because losing him would be huge. That to me, that was one of the biggest acquisitions that we had last year, was keeping him.
I don't think he's going anywhere, Mark. The only way he'll go somewhere is if we win the Super Bowl. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But other than that, I don't think Dan Quinn is going anywhere. Because I think deep in Dan Quinn's mind, I think his attitude is, before I go anywhere, I have to win a Super Bowl with the Cowboys, because I have to finish something that I started. See what I'm saying? I have to finish something that I started.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dan, maybe the heir apparent to Mike McCarthy when Mike is out.
So Ed Sapp, so you're from Tidewater, man. Yeah, because Allen Iverson, man, he was a legend.
Mark, that
shit, he was no joke.
Every time I hear somebody say Tidewater, it was Tidewater area, maybe 15 years ago.
Okay, well, I'm old.
We call it Hampton Roads now.
You don't call it Tidewater anymore?
No, it's Hampton Roads.
Well, see, I tell you what, there was oh my God, man, the West brothers. We always, because JMU, Doug West, he would have been one hell of a pro, one technique guy. He was 6 foot tall, about 320 pounds, and this is in 1985. He was second on the East Coast as an unlimited wrestler as a freshman. The first 3 games of the season, he literally took out a quarterback in each game. Doug was an absolute beast. Unfortunately, our sophomore year, he fell off the back of a pickup truck head first, had brain damage, and died 2 days later. But he would have been one hell of a nose guard back in the day. Him and his brother, Melvin just died a couple years ago. Or no, last year. He was an absolute beast, and we always talked about Tidewater, man. I'm sorry, I'm old, man. Forgive me. I'm still stuck at calling guys, one technique guy, nose guard. I'm still talking about Division 1AA as opposed to what has turned into the alphabet soup now. When you get old, you just get stuck on shit. So, hold up, I gotta turn the volume on this.
Brothers, laughing, cutting up. And
this is
stories.
Jimmy Johnson and Jerry.
And,
press
we
conference.
Told some stories, some of them we can't talk about here, but we told stories back and forth, and then the Ring of Honor thing came up, and Jerry, I'll let you, say there.
Well,
hold it.
You're going to hear me in today, and other than that, I'm not that scripted.
I'm not that scripted? Shit.
You're going to hear the word right. And when we finally make the word that says he's in the Ring of Honor, the rightful place for him. And that says it all from my perspective. It's so easy for me to go back to our very first weeks and remember when we first became a part of the Cowboys together. And I can
He's
remember
changed his tune
a
completely.
week or so before that, I can remember personal visits. I visited with Jimmy about some of them. And Dallas was really down and out. The banks were broke. It was a hard financial time. Most of you don't remember it.
Wilson!
Certainly not old enough to, really. But it was a rough time in Dallas. And I said, you know,
Todd
those
Wilson!
Cowboys down there,
Wilson!
Staubach and Bob.
Holy
and I
cow,
said,
what
"Boy,
is that
we have
in-"
such a part of what feels good about in Dallas. And wouldn't it be something if we went down there and somehow were a part of getting that
Gotcha,
thing
Todd.
going and became a part of reviving not only the feeling about the Cowboys kicking their ass, but also just the whole feel in the economy. And we were
This is
actually
good to see them
talking like
together.
that.
Right.
A couple of, I'm going to call us knotheads. We were, what were we? You were 45, I was 46.
Right.
But we remember those stories. I remember those conversations, and many liked them as well as better than I remember yesterday's conversation.
You know, people, they hear the story and they don't believe it. But I don't ever remember Jerry even asking me to be the coach of the Cowboys. It was kind of an assumption. And when I finally showed up there at the press conference and I went back and came back over, we never talked contract. We never talked money. We didn't even actually do a contract for a month or two.
Months.
And I just told him, I said, I
Because
just
we
don't
didn't have
wanna
any money to pay
make
you.
less than what I made at University of Miami. I'm happy, to be here. But that was the relationship that we had back and forth. And the one thing, too, Jerry and I talked every single day. And as you know, Jerry can talk. And I'd go over to his office, and sometimes it'd be hours, and I'd have work to do, but Jerry'd be talking. But we talked every single day. I think maybe we talked so much because when you're 1 in 15, you don't have a whole lot of friends. And so we were talking to each other. But that's the relationship we've had from day one.
One of the reasons, I had all the respect and that you could possibly have for Jimmy's intellect and his ability to coach. And I say that knowing that that's a mouthful when you say your ability to coach. He obviously had tremendous success at the collegiate level, had not coached at the pro level, but I never even thought about that, to be very candid with you. Jimmy fired me up. He was inspirational to me.
Because I
Always
want
had
some glory
been.
holes.
Inspirational. And we had a good communication. We could really communicate, almost knew what the other one was going to say before they opened their mouth. Consequently, we didn't have any real head-to-head negative stuff about it. Could tell if there was something array or wrong. I could a little bit from time to time, but it was a very positive thing. And why I'm talking about it as much as I am is at that time we had such criticism for the changes, such criticism for Coach Landry no longer going to be the coach. Such criticism for literally what we weren't about. There was an established, our media were very entrenched with Tech's realm and should have been. Tex was outstanding, as many of you well know.
Let Jimmy talk.
Having said all of that,
Yeah, we hear from him all the time.
we were
Hey, but now, though, Jerry
not
said a lot, though.
necessarily,
Like,
at least I wasn't.
he giving them a whole
I use
bunch
that
of
term
flowers.
liberally, Jimmy. I wasn't the fair-haired boy around here from having made those changes when we were coming in. And so it was just good to see somebody kind of smiling at you a little bit when we'd sit around and talk
Jerry sure
and
is
do
hogging
those
the
things.
show.
The other thing that I would say is we really did have the attitude of cutting and shooting. It was, I don't want to call it irresponsible risk-taking. But boy, we talked about it, and when we were talking about it, that meant that something might happen before we get down the hall. Now, we weren't waiting around, and it was yesterday for us. So all of that permeated the relationship and, frankly, permeated the attitude about how we made decisions back then.
All right, let's go to Clarence.
Forward Star Telegram. You guys certainly have talked about how you were brothers in relationships. There's so many former players who are still kind of miss about the whole situation because they keep wondering what might have been if y'all had stayed together. Both of you guys, what would you do differently looking back on it?
I think for me, the biggest thing was communication. You know, when
I'm
we're
just wondering if
together,
this is going to get ugly. Somebody's going to say something that
everything's
pisses off
fantastic.
the other.
I think maybe the fourth, maybe the fifth year, we
And that's why I fired your
kind of
ass.
got apart a little bit where we didn't talk every single day, and so the communication probably couldn't.
Nah, Jerry, no, he was wrong. This is Jerry saying he was
We
wrong.
had a great
this
run.
is crazy. I don't
Something
know.
that we're both very, very proud of.
Oh, and Mark,
Cowboys are in great
Jimmy,
shape.
Jimmy would be beside Darren
Cowboys are in
Woodson.
great
You know,
shape.
I just don't
Hold
look
on.
back and say, "What if?"
Yeah, Clarence, I'll say this. I apologize about my voice, but
Lose it so we can hear Jimmy.
the thing that we got to be a part of was intense at certainly from my perspective. And so to have gotten there and then ended up where we were, which was successful, I lost some tolerance that when I was a little more humble or whatever. But I lost some tolerance because I had kind of, and I know it sounds like true confession, but
confess your soul.
serious. It was more of, look, I had been there through a lot of butt kickings that we'd had over the last, and we certainly were enjoying that kind of success. And I literally thought this thing could get more, maybe from me, but certainly I thought it was time. And I sensed, without speaking for him, I sensed that he thought it was possibly time to go. What we were going to do going forward, I didn't give that, really didn't give it that kind of thought that you might think I would have. I went over to see my mother and daddy the night before we met, and I met them in Hot Springs, Arkansas. First time Mother had ever been out with me and Dad when we were having a few drinks. And that was rare because we enjoyed talking to each other and spelling it out. And I was sharing with him my feelings. Is it me? Is it me? And he asked me, and Mama too said, don't you think you could get this thing right and maybe go another year or two? And I basically introspectively said, what Jimmy brings is a lot of the best of me, enthusiasm and what have you. When it's going the other way, I don't like myself. I really don't. And it's taken away. It's taken away from it. So that mentality probably caused me to not be as tolerant as maybe we could have gone. Now, the other issue, though, was, and I'm not speaking for him, he had a lot to say about it, too. To say the least.
Yeah, well, it's his night. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Sometimes I'm kind of like a gypsy. I'd never been anywhere more than 5 years.
That's the truth.
And so, I got to the point after winning a couple of Super Bowls, almost to the point of saying, hey, I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you lose sight of what you can do because of what you've already done.
Ooh.
The one thing, and let me just throw this in, and Jerry and I were visiting earlier on. I think something that we're both very proud of is when we first came to the Cowboys, there was no holds barred. I mean, it was no rules. Just because the NFL did it a certain way, we didn't have to do it that way. from, I go out there and, I ask our strength coach, Bob Ward, I said, where's our players? And he said, well, it's cold here. And, our players, they don't come around in the off season. And I said, come around in the off season, my ass. I said, they're going to be here every day. We got training camp and we got to lift weights. And I said, where's our weight room? There's an old, cyclone fence out there. He said, you can't lift weights here. It's too cold in Dallas. And I go to Jerry. I said, Jerry, we got to build us a weight room. We got to get those players. And so we started working those players out year round. And I forgot who the media was, but they said, man, these guys are crazy. Those players will be worn slap out by the time they get to December. But we didn't know any different, and we just thought this was the way we did it. And Jerry and I talked about it. Hey, here's the way we're going to go. Everybody said, well, in the NFL, you take the best player available. And so Jerry and I talked about it, and I said, Jerry, what if we don't like that player? What do we do? But it was kind of that atmosphere that we had between the two of us that we weren't going to play with scared money. We were going to take chances.
There you go.
And we were going to do things
money don't make no
that we
money.
believed were right.
Yep. You got that right. Scared money do not make no money.
Why we were able to jumpstart that thing.
I'd heard a lot of my life that you take two people back to back, and if they're really back to back, and they're thinking just alike, and they're really moving in unison and sync, they can move a mountain. Now, I don't know what happens if you get 3 or 4, but two people are bad to the bone. Now, really working together in sync. A lot of great things can happen there with that. There was no question that I had complete trust in Jimmy's opinion.
Really back to back.
A lot of this stuff is not hard, tangible we're talking about here. A lot of this stuff is based upon do we think it will go. I know, Jimmy, I do want to point this out, but it was a protective thing. Jimmy would come back and check if I was in a tough meeting, and he'd say, how you doing? Are you okay? I know you've had a bad day with it. When Jimmy did his contract, we did it 10 years, and I thought, well, you're going to be here 27, Tom Landry was. And so, but anyway, the Cowboys signed it. Well, the Cowboys weren't worth the paper it was written on. They had, I bought part of them from the government. They had been foreclosed on. So their signature was not any good. And so when Jimmy finally, we got around to doing his contract, Cowboys signed it, and then I reached over, and nobody said anything, and I just personally guaranteed it. And I said, at least you can come get me and Gene if this thing doesn't work. And look how things turned out. But my point is, there was a real genuine get in, get it done. We all, when I say we all, let me begin by saying what did happen was the greatest thing that frankly happened in my life, certainly professionally, was that period of time, those years that we were able to make those kinds of things happen. It changed my life. And so,
mine. You not hear that?
And so
that's crazy.
Those kinds of things, and that enthusiasm that Jimmy would engender in my thinking, and that you saw with the team and what have you, that was alive and well. And back to the first question that came up, when that thing got a flame, got a damper put on it, then there was probably if you will, too much of a reaction.
Todd?
Jimmy, Todd Archer with ESPN. A number of your players, Troy and Michael, have talked about when they used to go into Texas Stadium and they'd see the names in the Ring of Honor, that kind of meant something to them. I was wondering if you had a similar experience when you walked in and you would see those names, if anything kind of registered with you.
Well, I don't think anybody can ever imagine what this means to me. This was a special time of my life. This was something that paid dividends for me the rest of my life. And it's something that I'm extremely proud of. We took over the worst football team in the NFL. The worst. 3 straight losing seasons and a 3-13 record. And not only did we win Super Bowls, but we were able to put together the team of the 90s. And so obviously I'm very proud of it, and I'm proud to have my name up in the stadium.
Amen.
I'd like to
Right,
add to
true story.
Tex, and I say this with all respect for Tex Ram, and he had pretty strong ideas about what the Ring of Honor.
This is still a crazy scene, the two of them sitting there together.
To him, and he said, first of all, he said, I hope that you will consider it exclusive, not have huge numbers of involvement. But he said, I like to think, whether it's Staubach, whether who it is, I'd like to think that apart from the way an individual may be thought about with the NFL Hall of Fame, I'm not trying to lift that above the NFL Hall of Fame at all, but just his perspective of what this means. I think it's very distinct. I think it's very different. Because what he wanted it to be was someone who had really made a serious step forward for the franchise. Not necessarily the one-loss record, the franchise. Now, it turns out there's only one other coach in it, and that's, of course, Tom Landry. And there's actually only a total of 3 there today that aren't players. That'll change here in just a little bit.
Well, you think they're going to put his hair up there? Like, you know what I mean?
He is that. It could make that kind of difference.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Wouldn't that
for
be
the
funny?
franchise, obviously a great coach and a great manager of the team. And so all of that is, I think, is reflected in a lot of ways with the NFL Hall of Fame. But it also is a different statement when we say, Jimmy, you now forevermore, rightfully so, in the Cowboys Ring of Honor.
Newey?
Amen.
Newey Scruggs, NBC5 Dallas. Jerry, you're the decider when it comes to the Ring of Honor. Fans were upset when Tom Landry was let go. You got Tom Landry you mended fences there and got him in, and when Jimmy was let go, your fans were mad at you. Any message for them now that you've been able to get both men into the Cowboys Ring of Honor now and mend the fence?
Yeah, I'd take deference to I put them in the Ring of Honor. I get it. And it ultimately has to, the way it's structured is has to, okay. But they made themselves into the Ring of Honor. Coach Landry went into the Ring of Honor long before Jerry Jones. And so the Ring of Honor are made up of people who put themselves in the Ring of Honor. And in doing so, they lifted the Cowboys to a level that it wasn't or wouldn't have been had they not come along. And that's why Jimmy's going in.
Respect.
That's a big admission from him.
Sports Pro Football Talk.
Man.
Jerry, there's only one Hall of Famer now not in the Ring of Honor. That's you. When do you put yourself in?
Well, when he gets to where he can lift something around here. Seriously, obviously that enjoys a certain uncomfortableness on my part from that standpoint. I want to differentiate, though, seriously, again, the difference in the NFL Hall of Fame and the Dallas Cowboy Ring of Honor. And so I don't have an answer for that question there, and I'm not so sure that, candidly, and I know this is whatever you think of it, but I'm not so sure we'll go there with this selector.
Well, just like when they asked me
When he
on
passes
the
is when he
recommendation
should go
you
in the Ring
going
of
into
Honor.
the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I'll be the first one to say that you need to be in the Ring of Honor.
Well,
Garrett?
There you go. That's the way to go, Jim.
Jared Bell, USA Today. Considering that it took so long for this day to happen, and as Newey alluded to, the fans asking about it. Jerry, this is for you. Psychologically speaking, how difficult was it for you to give Jimmy credit?
Oh, shit.
Where the heck did that question come from?
Can I ask you here, Jerry?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we're past on who gets credit.
Hey.
Oh.
The two of us working together
Grab a noose.
made history.
There you go. Smart
And when
answer,
I say
Jimmy.
working together,
Hey,
just
I'm
like I
gonna
told
say
you
that,
earlier on, we talked every single day. And I don't ever
It might be his
recall
last
ever
day as a reporter.
us having a difference.
Boy,
of
yeah, you
opinion.
might be right.
You'll
I
never
can't
get
ever
another
remember
question
an
again.
argument. We were always on the same page. And so the credit needs to go to a lot of people. Jerry, Jimmy, a bunch of assistant coaches, some great players. Yeah,
He's tearing up
some of
right
them
now.
weren't that great when we were
I
1
think
and
he's
15,
tearing up.
but they were pretty fantastic when we held up that trophy. So a lot of people take credit.
But let me also answer this, Jimmy. This didn't have to happen. It happened because it was the right thing to do. And that's not a difficulty of credit. It's just the right thing to do. Now you say, why has it lasted so long? As it turns out, when you go in, that means you were there all along in that sense. And so I will agree with you. I will agree that somebody could have said, Jerry, shouldn't Jimmy have been in 15 years ago, 20 years ago? And you can say whatever you want to about my human reactions or frailties along that spot. I say this today, he's there because it's the right thing to do. He was always going in the Ring of Honor, whether I put him in or one of my kids put him in.
Michael.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. If I could direct you guys to the photo on the wall there, the very early press conference. That's a long time ago, and you guys go back even farther in terms of your time at Arkansas. When you see images like that and you think back to how long this relationship dates, what are you most appreciative and what times, I suppose, most come to mind about what you cherish most?
Well, I'll start that, Jimmy, by saying that I had mentioned that I stood on the bench to try to get Coach Brawls to make him the head coach at Arkansas. And then I really stood on the bench and pushed any way I knew how to push for him to be the head coach at Oklahoma State.
Right.
I was always wanting him to be the head coach, wherever. And so when the opportunity or the challenge or whatever of the Dallas Cowboys came along, it was a natural. I remember when I called Jimmy and he said, Jerry, I don't care if it's selling insurance or if it's plowing. I've always wanted to be on the team with you.
Right.
Just figure me in, if you will. And so the point is, it was a natural thing to do. This is a very natural thing to do, that we're sitting up here. Whatever I thought you were, worth 5 Heisman trophies, whatever I thought you were, and we'd been good enough friends that I knew some of what he wasn't, okay? But whatever that I thought you were, you over-delivered.
Well, thank you. And that first press conference, that picture up there, he's still in charge of the socks and the jocks. but that press conference there, I felt like we were going into a hornet's nest, and we were. And I just wanted to give out a message, just be patient with us, give us a chance, because confidence has never been lacking with Jerry or myself. Both of us felt like we were going to get the job done if people would just be patient with us.
I will say this, there was a nice long list that had pointed out how we were going to bust our ass. A big long list of them, and had a lot of reasons why we were going to at the time. And if you recall, football was kind of sliding a little bit at that particular time. Even here in Dallas, the Mavericks were hot. Cowboys a little slow moving when they looked at it like that. They were talking about reducing TV contracts. This was no silk purse. But I will tell you right now, to get involved with it, I wanted to be with someone that I had confidence in, that was extraordinarily talented, that I believed in. And that's why Jimmy deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. You over-delivered.
Ed?
Ed Warder, ESPN. Jimmy, I'd like you to expound on the significance of this achievement to you in such a short amount of time. When you walk out there tonight, there's going to be 2 coaches in the 60-year history of the Cowboys who have their names on that facade. You've been acknowledged by the Hall of Fame, but to now be acknowledged by the franchise where you accomplished this and by the owner and your partner you did it with, what is the significance of that to you?
I think the significance has a little bit to do with the players. We got some players back in '89, and we struggled. And those players got better and better and better. And we were able to accomplish something that most people didn't think that we could ever accomplish. And we did it in a short amount of time. But would you rather coach for 20 years and win a couple of playoff games or coach for 5 and win a couple of Super Bowls? Like I said before, I don't think anybody can imagine how I feel. I'm proud. I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish. And when I say we, Jerry and I and everybody around here, I mean, our entire organization, everybody was pulling together. And you get that many people pulling together, you can accomplish a lot of things. And like I said, I'm just proud to be there.
And we'll wrap it up with Mac.
Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Guys, we've seen other great teams come and go. When you look back on it, did you ever get numb to or take your success for granted, like it would just always be there?
Well, like I said, we've never lacked on confidence. There was never a doubt in our mind. I remember when I was at Oklahoma State, and I hate to make it personal, but I'll do it anyway. When I was at Oklahoma State, I had my crew, Wanstead, Wise, Butch Davis, all those guys. We were at Ancestor Restaurant. I said, guys, I know it's pretty ugly right now, but hang with me. We're going to win a national championship. And so we ended up winning a national championship at Miami, our crew. And that first year we were 1-15, and that was ugly. I mean, and everybody doubted us. An oil man from Arkansas and a college coach that didn't know what the hell he was doing. And they were ripping us on a regular basis. But we went over to a little restaurant not too far from Valley Ranch. And I said, guys, I told you we're going to win a national championship. I said, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to win us a Super Bowl. Just be patient. We're on the right track. And so I think, a lot of people dream. We never really dreamed. We truly believed that we were going to get it done. And I think Jerry has that same feeling, or else he wouldn't have bought the Cowboys. He believed that he was going to be successful, regardless what the financial situation was. He had that kind of belief. And our guys, not only, and it all trickles down. Jerry, myself, the assistant coaches, the players, by that second year, hey, we would have made the playoffs the second year. We're going from 1-15 to could have made the playoffs if Troy doesn't hurt his shoulder against Philadelphia.
It's Troy's fault.
And then we make the playoffs. Then we win a couple of Super Bowls. Every player, every coach, everybody in the organization were on the same page. We truly did believe we were going to win us the Super Bowl.
Alrighty, that'll conclude things. Thanks, everybody, for coming again, and thank you, Jimmy and Jerry.
That was a thing of beauty. I'm glad actually we were able to listen in and hear them, because that has been too long in coming. Shout out to Queen Bella and Todd Wilson for the super chats. Appreciate those. Thoughts real quick, guys, on that?
Mark, Jimmy Johnson's name will be besides Darren Woodson. Mm-hmm. I got it posted up in my on my YouTube page.
Good. That's beautiful. And Darren Woodson is another one that should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But man, you can see the emotion with Jimmy Johnson right there. This does mean a lot to him, as much as it. I guess he always brushed it off and things like that. Hearing Jerry Jones saying "we" and giving credit, that's a major moment right there. I'm still don't believe it.
No, to me, it's well deserved, and I can't wait for tonight to see that during halftime. That's going to really choke me up because I was about 11 when we won that third one. So, of course, I had vision issues growing up. So, having YouTube and going back and being able to see that after my transplants is really awesome. So, it's going to choke me up, man. All the memories.
I tell you what, if the team doesn't go out there to run through a brick wall for this, then man, I don't know. Then they shouldn't be playing football. This is an epic moment in the history of the franchise, and I always say, I as you guys know, working on this 200-year-old house, and I've always been one that's loved going back and try and present to everybody about what the Cowboys were, how they were the driver. Jerry pointed out in there how football was kind of waning when they came into the business, and Cowboys were in foreclosure. They were losing $2 million a month. To have been at that point in the NFL and then to have it turn around to where it is now is just unbelievable. And so that's where you've got to honor those guys, because those guys, they weren't, getting the $50 million a year jobs and things. These are guys that were doing it because they love playing football and so on. So that's why I always try and honor past players. I'll go through and I've gotten, Bob Lilly's autograph, 15 times probably, but every time that he's here and still alive, I'll be there getting him just to keep passing that stuff on, because we all need to know about this Dallas Cowboy team. I got spoiled because we got so good, you just expected it to always be there. And after Barry Switzer in that season, God, it was ugly. And it reminded me what happened to the Cowboys after the 70s, where, we just got old, and Tom Landry, the game had passed him by, and it just went to the abyss. I'm hoping that maybe we're on the cusp of getting this thing together. People don't like Mike McCarthy that much or want to give him credit, but when you think about where this team has been, where every year it's, maybe we have a playoff year and then the next year we're back in the toilet. Maybe we're headed in the right direction again and ready to just take off. We just need something to be that launching point to get us there.
If I was a player for the Dallas Cowboys and I'm getting dressed right now, I'd be telling my teammates, hey man, look.
Win it for Jimmy. Win it for Jerry.
Don't you see what's getting ready to go down?
Mm-hmm.
You got a coach who played a big role in what happened in the 90s. Not only that.
Let me add one thing to that. Getting you to be those boys for you. If it wasn't for Jimmy and those guys, there wouldn't be the Dallas Cowboys mystique that there is now, where you've got everybody on every word that's being said about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and and not only that, you gonna have a piece of the Dallas Cowboy mystique out there. Mm-hmm. Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, Bob Lilly. I don't even have to go there, because you know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah. My thing was they should have done this on that playoff game against San Francisco 2 years ago.
Yeah, right. and not only that, there's a possibility that I'm going to be a piece of that mystique later.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight is tonight. Tonight is tonight to get shit started.
Yeah, you got a great point there. Mm-hmm.
Tonight is tonight. Tonight is tonight, and we need to stop pussyfooting around. Amen. Tonight is tonight. Mark, I'm sorry, I'm preaching, but hey, I got to go there. Tonight is tonight. If you want to get something started, if you want to win a Super Bowl this year, tonight is tonight.
Yeah, exactly. You
Hey,
can't go
Thomas.
and you can't
Stop
lose
playing.
3 straight games against winning teams. You can't.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I understand we're in the playoffs, but you cannot go into the playoffs like this. Okay,
No.
next week's game, we'll see what that's going to mean. You need to make a statement tonight. And then
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, even with that statement, all the haters are going to say, yeah, but it was at home. You're not going to be playing at home,
You know, I
yada,
don't
yada.
care.
Who cares about that? Bottom line is, you need to go on the field and
Get it
excuse
done.
me, show your dominance to the world tonight.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, Brian.
that's it.
Game time, Brian. Who the hell
Yes.
cares? This is us. We handling our business. We don't give a damn about what these 3 and 4 letter word networks say. We don't
Yeah.
care about the
Just go
haters
smash
and
a team
trolls say.
tonight.
We got our business to take care of.
That's it. That's if they. I would love for Jimmy to address the team and say, you know,
How about
I
them
don't think it'll
Cowboys?
happen, but that would be my wish, is that Jimmy stands in front of the team and say, listen, when we came in here, this was a dead franchise. Nobody wanted any part of the Dallas Cowboys. Yet me and Jerry came in and we had a goal and we met our goal. You guys have the talent to win, and damn it, it's time for you to go out and meet the goals.
It's time.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
You know,
it.
it's time. You know, I lay in bed sometimes. I lay in bed and I think about my Cowboys and I say to myself, I say, damn, this team remind me of the team of the 90s. They really do. They got that same swagger. They got that same, they got that same swagger. They need somebody, and you said it game time, Brian. They need somebody, or they need some of the players from the 90s to sit them down and talk to them and tell them what they need to do and where they need to
Sometimes
go.
people, I mean, these players get caught up, you know, with all the social media. They don't know. They don't
No, they
really
don't
know
know.
what it takes
Listen,
to win,
you know what?
especially,
Yeah.
especially with a star on their helmet, which is, I'm sorry, but it's that much harder to do. So it just is.
Well, I've got to actually get ready for the game and stuff, so we can't go too long. But I want to just put something out there from my own personal experience. Because see, I'm old enough that I remember seeing the Hail Mary when it happened. I'm old enough to remember seeing Herschel Walker. Excuse me, God, jeez, Tony Dorsett. Go 99 yards when we had 10 players
Monday
on
Night
the
Football.
field on
Yep,
Monday Night
I
Football.
remember that.
Against
I
Minnesota.
remember seeing us
At Minnesota.
beat the Miami Dolphins for our first Super Bowl win. When people say you're a bandwagon fan, I was a fan of the Cowboys before they had ever won anything. Back basically when they were known as the good regular season team, but can't win the big one because they lost games like the Ice Bowl. But
Yeah.
it wasn't just the Ice Bowl. They lost in the championship game to Green Bay 3 times. And so I've been there my whole life. And when I was fortunate enough to be there at Drew Pearson's after party, where you've got Bob Lilly, where you've got Roger Staubach, where you've got, you know, rest his soul, Rayfield Wright, when you've got all of these great players that are the ones that built them boys, and people don't care. You cannot say we got 5 rings and know nothing about guys like Jimmy Johnson. If you don't care about Jimmy Johnson going into the Ring of Honor, then you're not really a Dallas Cowboy fan.
No. And Mark, I still got his shirt inside this box. I haven't opened it up but one time. God rest his soul. I haven't opened it up but one time. Rayfield Wright. I got this shirt. I got this shirt on the top of my toe. It has been on there from day one since I opened it up.
The shirt, did I send it to you?
Huh?
Where'd you get it from?
No, you mailed it to me.
So you won. Okay, so yeah, an autograph. Yeah, and see, you know, that's where I always say that I always like to go to the autograph signing shows and get the signatures of these guys, because Rayfield Wright, but I thought he was like he looked like he was ready to play right now. And then it was 6 months later, he had died. And so you don't know when these greats are gone. And that's where I always want to honor their memory. And this is This is a history lesson. That's a living history lesson that every Cowboy fan needs to know. Yazin Cowboy, the Cowboys are going to be unbeaten at home for the first time in '81 when I was in 8th grade. But this should be, maybe this is the launching point, you know, when you look back and these guys look up there and see Jimmy Johnson going in there and start learning about all of these guys. I'm with you. I would love for Jimmy Johnson to speak to the team. I would love that to happen.
You know, my nephew told me a couple of years ago, he was like, Unc, how are you going to react when Dallas win their 6th Super Bowl? And I told him, I said, man, you're going to have one crying ass uncle when we win our Super Bowl, because you see, that'll be our 6th Super Bowl. Yeah, it will be. But I witnessed them win. I saw my very own eyes win 5. And that would be the thumb. I saw them win 4. But if they win a 6-1, I witnessed them see 5.
Yeah.
Man.
And you know what, Mark? I told him, I said, man, I don't want nothing else. I really don't. All I want is to see us win our 5th Super Bowl. That's it. I want nothing else.
Yep.
I don't.
All right.
If we're blessed to win our 5th Super Bowl,
give me 6.
I'm good.
6th.
I'm good.
Yeah. All right, good people. I've got to actually run to the store before the game here, and Michael and Gina and things, they've gotten here at the house. So real quick, final thoughts before the game kicks off? Anything?
Opening drives.
Dallas by 7.
Okay.
Well, like I said earlier, offense need to take the game over early. You do that, just let the defense just do their thing.
Okay.
Defense needs to tee off on them.
And if everything that I just said happened like it do, expect Deron Bland to get another pick 6.
That would be great.
That would be great.
All right. Okay. I'm going to end it with this for everybody here. And I think that this is a great way to end this live stream.
You're up, and then James Harris.
Jimmy Johnson, let me first say congratulations on getting into the Hall of Fame. Watching that live on television, that raw emotion was just beautiful. I have so many questions for you. I think about the only way I can get them in is to get a cooler of beer and head out and go fishing with you. But leaving the University of Miami and coming to the Dallas Cowboys, and at that time they were basically broke, busted, and thoroughly disgusting to watch. Having gone from the pinnacle down to the depths, what was that like? And the second part of this question would be, played football at JMU with Charles Haley, and knowing the character that he is and all the personalities that you had with the Cowboys, how were you able to mold them and keep them focused on the grand prize, which was winning?
Well, first of all, people look back on it and they say it was an easy decision to leave University of Miami. But we had gone through 4 straight seasons where we played a national schedule and been on national television every other week and only lost 2 regular season games. And so we had a powerhouse football team, and I knew it was going to continue that way because we had a great, group of talent. And then going to Dallas, Tom Landry is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But they had 3 straight losing seasons. They were at the bottom of the NFL at 3-13 because they just didn't have any talent. And and obviously there were some older players that helped us, in winning our Super Bowls. But a lot of it had to do with, I brought in Tony Wise, my offensive line coach, and he put together what is considered one of the greatest offensive lines in NFL history. But he did it with a free agent defensive tackle, Mark Tuinei, at left tackle. He did it with a left guard where the previous staff said get rid of him because he was too fat, Nate Newton. We took a third-round pick, 245-pound offensive guard. I asked Tony, I said, can you convert him to a center? He said, I'll make him into a center. So we moved Stepnoski to center. And then we took a seventh-round pick, Kevin Gogan, who had struggled his early years. We moved him to guard and took a third-round pick, Eric Williams, at right tackle. So, those players hadn't developed, but Tony Wise was able to develop them into a great offensive line. And so, the combination of having some great assistant coaches and acquiring a lot of talent with 51 trades in 5 years, we were able to win that Super Bowl. So it was a great feeling.
Thank you very much on that.
I'll follow up about Charles Haley.
Yes, he's a character.
He's a character, but he is one of my favorites. Charles and I developed a great relationship after a few rocky roads there early in his career at Dallas. We had a couple of run-ins, but we really got together. Really, he came in my office after I had berated him a couple of times at one of the ball games. And he said, Coach, he said, if you will just get on to me one-on-one in your office, he said, I'll do anything in the world for you. I love playing for you. He said, but just don't embarrass me in front of the other players. And I said, Charles, I may not always be able to do that, but I'll try. But from that time forward, we had a great relationship, and he was a big part of us winning Super Bowls.